Hi class, welcome to week 7. You know, this is the third semester I've taught this course, and it's fascinating for me to see how each class has its own vibe, its own personality. What impresses me this semester is how smart all of you are. You're all extremely good students, and this has made the semester fun for me. You're taking this seriously, and I appreciate it. This is going to be an interesting week for me and for you guys. For me, on Tuesday, the movers come to pack up our house. On Friday, we close on our house, and then on Saturday, my wife and I will drive our cars the 1,000 miles to Oregon. I want you all to know that you remain my top priority, though. If you want to run something past me, send it to me, and I'll turn it around as fast as I can. This video is going to run a little long this week. It's the one and only time I'll do anything like a lecture, so buckle up. For you guys, this is your first design project week. Now, don't stress if you're not a designer. This is not a design class, so don't feel any anxiety about this. I've had students get a perfect score using stickmen drawn on notebook paper, so don't worry. To the designers in the class, though, you're going to have some fun this week. I'm sure some of you have been looking forward to this. This assignment is about color first and design second. What I want to see is that you learn a bit about color's role in creativity and advertising, and how color schemes work, and how to bring it all together. I'd start this assignment by clicking on the Help Scout link in the assignment. It will take you to an infographic that will blow your mind about the psychological aspects to the colors that brands use. You might want to keep that open on your screen while you work on this. Your assignment then is to pick a product in a grocery store. It can be any product. And you're going to design a poster about it. You can decide what information you want to include or exclude. After you've picked your product, go to the Peloton link in the assignment and play around. It's pretty intuitive, so just play around. I love this tool and use it all the time. It's so useful for creating a color scheme. Plan on just 10 or 15 minutes of playing with it. Then, when you have a color scheme that works for your grocery store product and the psychology of that product's brand, you're ready to design. But first, I need to give you a little lecture on color theory. I've had the great honor of working alongside Mike Rodriguez at R.R. Donnelley, and we became great friends. Donnelley was the world's largest printing company, and Mike was the world's foremost expert on color. He developed the color model that Adobe uses in both Photoshop and Illustrator. You don't know it, but you see the fruits of his work thousands of times every day. So here's my short lecture on color theory. There are two color models that we concern ourselves with, additive and subtractive. I won't test you on that, but the concept is important. You know, when you watch TV, the TV is emitting light. You may have gotten up close to a TV and noticed that the pixels on the screen are made up of 3 tiny bars. One is red, one is green, and one is blue. With those 3 colors of light, the TV and your eyes work together to see a full rainbow of colors. We call that color model RGB, which simply stands for red, green, and blue. With those 3 colors using varying intensities, we can create about 17 million different colors. Interestingly, your eyes are even more amazing and can distinguish about 24 million colors. But 17 million is pretty good. RGB is called additive color. The absence of colored light is darkness, so it's black. If you want black on your TV, you turn off all the pixels. You then add colored lights to create colors. If you add red, green, and blue at their full intensities, you get white light. The alternative color model is subtractive. Have you ever looked up close to a photo in a printed book or magazine? The colors that are printed are made up of tiny dots of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black ink. We call this CMYK, cyan, sky blue, magenta, which is hot pink, yellow, and K for black. Using those 4 ink colors, we can produce about 16,000 colors. Did you hear that? Not 17 million colors, but just 16,000. Unlike what I said about RGB, imagine a blank sheet of paper that's white. When we put ink on it, we make it darker. So if you take equal amounts of cyan, magenta, yellow, you'll get black. So it's opposite of RGB. So in CMYK, all the colors get you black. A problem I often have is I will design something in RGB because I know it's going to be on a website, and then I find out the client wants to print it. When I convert it to CMYK, you can imagine what happens. I'm going from a world of 17 million colors to a world with just 16,000. The Palatine tool works in the RGB space, so that's what we're going to concern ourselves with this week. For each color, it will give you the 6-digit hex code for each color. If you don't know, every one of those 17 million colors in the RGB world has a 6-digit code assigned to it, and it's called hex color, and it's the standard online. In Word, for example, if you click to change the color of your typeface, you can click on More Colors. In the box that opens, you'll see RGB sliders, and at the bottom, there's a place to enter the 6-digit hex code. Illustrator, Canva, WordPress, and PowerPoint all use the hex color system. So if this is new to you, it's worth learning. So now you've picked your product, you've played around in Palatine, and you found some colors you like together. Just like you learned last week, you need to take a 360-degree look at this project. You want to take into account not just the colors you like, but the colors that communicate what you want to communicate for the product you picked. Now is when you'll ask, how many colors make up a color scheme? Generally, I pick 5 colors that I use for primary colors. I pick 5 secondary colors that I use basically to highlight information. If I know I'm going to need even more flexibility, I'll pick 5 more neutral colors. So here I'm showing you a color scheme I developed for Freeland Wade, a client of mine. I designed their logo and this color scheme. So you've got your colors, now you need a concept for your poster. You might want a headline, you might want to use just an image. Let's say you pick Tide Pods. What direction do you want to go? You could play off the ocean tide, you could play off the word pod. You could do what you've seen a million times on TV commercials and just show a kid with grass stains on his shirt. Whatever you use, come up with a concept. Feel free to practice your brainstorming and write a headline. And if you want to bounce it off of me, just shoot me a text or email. Now, you have a decision to make. Do you illustrate this with stickmen or design something in PowerPoint, or do you engage AI? Yes, I said AI. I know it's forbidden at WVU to use, but you have permission on this project. I think the concept and headline need to be yours. The colors are the ones that you've picked. But this is not a design class, so if you want to use AI to generate your image, go for it. A little help with the prompt for this. Tell AI, probably ChatGPT, that you want a poster for Tide Pods. It has to be designed in a color scheme using 00639C, 29B34B, yada yada. I want a background image of color waves, of ocean waves, and then you might say I want the Tide Pods logo. I want a headline on the poster to read for an ocean fresh clean. Anyway, whatever you do, your prompt is going to be a lot of work. Put some effort into that. Better than this would be to have it just create your background image and then grab the logo from the brand's website and design and compile your ad in PowerPoint or whatever layout application you have. Then in PowerPoint, you can choose your typefaces and put that over the top. However you get there, I'm going to be grading you on your color scheme and how you implemented it with the product you chose. I'll then look at your design. The threshold is, do you have the hierarchy of design correct and is your layout well thought out? Imagine this. You're the account executive at an ad agency. You want to share your idea with your creative team to implement. Are you able to design well enough to communicate what you want to your creative team so they can run with it? That's the minimum we're going for here. Of course, those of you that can design, knock yourselves out. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Another couple of things. I've been a graphic designer for 35 years and won just about every award you can think of. If you want help, even want some design help, just ask. I'm happy to do it. Also, I'm going to do another movie where I walk you through how to do this assignment. If you're not quite getting it, this should answer your questions. You're not required to watch it, but just know that it's coming. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. Have fun with this.